Mary Backstage, Noble Wife. The story of America's favorite family of the Footlights and of their fight for security and happiness against the concrete heart of Broadway. Today, rehearsals for La Traviata are due to begin at La Scala Opera House in Milan. And with Mary still missing, Harry, Calvin, and Pop arrived only moments ago to be greeted by Greg Marlowe, who says...
Any sign of Mary?
Not a bit, Greg. We're terribly worried about her.
Well, I should imagine so. Till she gets here, though, I thought maybe we could go over a little bit of the story.
Yes,
I was explaining to you, La Traviata is based on the old Dumas play,
yes.
The Camellias.
I wonder if you could have those carpenters stop. I can't hear you very well.
Oh, they have to continue building the sets.
Uh-huh.
Now, you see, in Act 1, the overture, the orchestra will be right down there.
Right there, I see.
You see that, Pop?
Yes.
Yeah, I see it.
And do you see it, too?
Is that the prompter's box there in the middle?
Yes, that's right.
Because he may have a lot to do with Mary and Harry in the opera.
Hey, that's very interesting. And then where would I make my entrance? Well, just one thing at a time.
Yes.
Now, you see, the overture begins with the tragic melody that's descriptive of Violetta's fatal illness. Now, of course, Mary will play Violetta. Hey, will you watch it, please, buddy?
We're trying to concentrate on the libretto over here.
I don't think they understand. They don't know English, you know.
I know they don't.
What's so funny? Almost scared me half to death. Now,
go back again a little bit.
All right, I say the overture will begin with the tragic melody that is descriptive of Violetta's fatal illness.
This whole thing is rather a sad opera, isn't it?
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Oh, my, yes.
Oh, I'm learning more and more.
But everybody leaves the theater humming the songs, don't they? Not exactly.
That's usually the case of... hey, happy
Would
song.
you watch it, please?
Oh, I don't think we can rehearse here with all of this noise going on.
They just throw up their hands and give me the horse laugh. I'm trying to be serious. I'm trying to explain to these people about the opera.
They're just making sport of you guys. They're not paying any attention whatsoever.
I think they're taking advantage of the language barrier.
They're certainly having a good time as they put the scenery together.
They just, shrug their shoulders and do this.
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand.
Yeah.
Well, anyway.
What the heck are they doing now?
Can't you do that?
I thought there was supposed to be a time for rehearsal for the stars and a time for the stagehands.
Now, the overture begins with the tragic melody that is descriptive, I know, of Violetta's fatal illness. You told us that 3 times.
It's a sad opera, in other words.
And later it's fully developed into the hauntingly beautiful introduction to the last act. Now, of course, if Mary doesn't show up by tomorrow, then, Pop, I'll have to ask you to take Violetta's part.
Well, you're not going to open till a week from Friday. She'll show up by that time.
But until she gets here, you'll play Violetta.
I'll just kind of stand in for Violetta, okay?
Now, after the overture, the curtain will rise.
And so Greg continues to fill in Harry, Calvin, and Pop on the details of La Traviata, due to open a week from Friday at La Scala. And you want to be here tomorrow when we'll hear Calvin say...
Oh, you mean to tell me Violetta dies in the end?
That's tomorrow in the next exciting episode of Mary Backstage, Noble Wife. Word Carr speaking. Hello. It's time to pay another of our regular visits to the Bob and Ray Hobby Hut, a special feature conducted by Neil Plummer, editor of Wasting Time magazine. Neil is nationally known as Mr. Hobby himself, and I see he's getting set up over at our other microphone with his special guest for today. So we'll just let you pick it up from there and carry on, Neil.
Well, thank you very much, Bob. I think the gentleman here beside me has a collection that will be the envy of every hobbyist. His name is Carl Dickert. Of course, that immediately rings a bell with all you listeners who collect odd-shaped fruit and vegetables. But for the benefit of the non-hobbyist, I wonder if you'd tell us something about your collection, Carl.
Yes, I'd be happy to, Neil. My collection consists of odd-shaped fruit and vegetables, and I've traveled all over the country to assemble the prize pieces I brought with me today. I'm always reading in the paper about somebody who's grown a Hubbard squash in the shape of an elephant or something like that.
So I usually hop the next plane to go dicker with the owner about buying it for my collection.
And then I assume you keep the specimens in these paper sacks that you brought with you.
Yes, there aren't any ready-made albums available for displaying strange items of produce, and buying plane tickets to travel around the country picking up the stuff takes a lot of money.
Sure.
So I cut corners by keeping the collection in 238 separate paper sacks. I brought about 20 of the best ones with me today.
Well, it's too bad that there aren't any albums available for what you collect, Carl.
There aren't.
But I see that you have labels neatly pasted on each sack telling what's inside. And where you got it.
Yes, I try to put all that information down while I still remember pertinent details. Like this one here, you can see it identifies the contents of the paper sack as a cluster of 5 carrots, all grown from a single seed and attached to each other at the top. I obtained those in August of 1974 from an elderly gentleman in Minnesota. And here at the bottom it lists the price I paid, $3.25.
Well, it's certainly cheap enough for an unusual specimen like 5 carrots all attached to each other.
Yes, the old man needed money, so he let them go cheap. But, of course, my transportation to Minneapolis from my home in Florida ran almost $400, so I have more invested than you might think.
Yes, I'm sure you do. And I notice another sack here that's labeled cantaloupe in the shape of a dill pickle. Well, now, that's hard to imagine. I wonder if you could remove some of your prized specimens like that from their sacks so we could, describe them for our listeners.
You mean you want me to open the sacks?
Yes, if you don't mind. I don't see you have a strip of tape across the top of each one holding it shut, so it shouldn't be too hard to put them back after we've seen them.
No, it won't be hard, so if you're sure that's what you want, okay.
Oh, phew. Oh, boy, that smells terrible.
Yes, I know.
Boy.
That's why I couldn't figure out why you wanted me to open the sacks. Some of this fresh produce is 4 or 5 years old. See, the date on this cantaloupe in the shape of a dill pickle is September 14th, 1972.
Get it away from me. I don't want to see the date. That stench is really overpowering.
Yes, that's why I keep the specimens in sacks with the tape across the top that way.
Oh, boy.
Doesn't seem to be any way to preserve odd-shaped fruit and vegetables, so they keep their odd shape.
Well, all you've got there is garbage, actually.
I suppose you could say that, Neil. But of course, I can visualize what each item looked like when it was still fresh. That's why I always take a plane to go and pick up the stuff, so I can see it at least once before it decays. I'll take this one here. It's a tomato that grew up in the shape of a chicken.
Oh, boy, that's awful. Hey, that smells worse than the first one.
Yes.
Oh, boy.
3-year-old tomato that's not refrigerated will tend to do that.
Oh, hey, would you close those sacks and seal them up again, please?
I thought you said you wanted to see the stuff.
I changed my mind now. Will you get all that stuff out of here? Oh, boy, what a stench.
Yes, I guess it's really not the kind of a collection I should put on display.
Oh, boy.
So I'll just take it and leave. Goodbye.
Well, that seems to close out another of our informative sessions here in the Hobby Hut. So until next time, this is Neil Clemmer, urging all of you to have a good day and find a good hobby.
Next, Mary Backstage, Noble Wife. The story of America's favorite family of the Footlights and of their fight for security and happiness against the concrete heart of Broadway. Although Harry, Calvin, Pop, and Greg haven't heard from Mary, rehearsals for their appearance in La Traviata began yesterday at La Scala. Now it's later the same day, and in the backstage suite at the Hotel Raphael, our friends discuss what to do next.
Well, the thing is this, that we can't take another step until we find Mary.
Well, that's right. I think
it's a little too long now. I think she's missing. It's a case now for the authorities.
And it's very obvious that Pop can't play Mary's role, Violetta, whatever it is, in the show. It's just impossible. Won't work.
Well, I think you're right in that respect.
Yeah, you certainly are. I don't want to play a lady's part anyway. I'd like to be the part of the old beggar, I think. Something like I did in Tale of Two Cities.
Yeah, that was a good... You were terrific. I remember you were critically acclaimed for your portrayal of the beggar.
Yes, I was. I don't know whether there's a part like that in La Traviata, though.
Well, maybe they could write one in. They do that in a lot of Broadway shows, you know. If a friend of the producer comes along and they say, oh, let's write her in. Let's find a nice little part for her.
Yes, right.
Maybe they could do that in La Traviata.
Yeah, that might be.
It's showbiz. Look at here. I mean, it's all who you know and things like that. The whole world spins on
that's
clout.
Right.
Sure.
Well,
Absolutely.
we've still got to think of how we're going to find Mary. Who can we turn to, Greg?
Well, I'd call the... Oh, you're talking to Greg. I'm sorry.
Well,
I was thinking, of course, we could call the police, but we have this language barrier. I just can't make myself understood to a cab driver, never mind an investigatory police officer.
A what?
Investigatory police officer.
Is that Italian, Miss Marlowe?
That's about as much Italian as I can say.
Investigatory?
Yes.
Investigatory.
I can say fettuccine, which is quite Italian, I've been told. Oh, that's a good one. The
Or
cavatelli.
La Scala.
Yeah, or La Scala. Rigatoni is Italian, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But those are all pastas. I mean, you can't call up the police and rattle off a list of pastas to the police officer.
No, I wonder if we called a travel agent. They must be able to speak English. So
where do you want to go?
Well, I don't want to go anywhere, but they might be able to help us find Mary.
Well, I never heard of calling a travel agency to find somebody who was busy.
Oh, that's kind of locking the barn door after the horse is stolen.
That's the funniest thing I've heard all day. That's a riot.
What do you mean locking the barn door after the horse is stolen?
Well, it's kind of like a deja vu thing.
Oh, no, it's nothing to do with deja vu. It's just that it's too late to do anything about the horse after he's been stolen. You might as well lock the barn door then.
Listen, I have a thought. I think this might be the thing for us to do.
What's that, Greg?
What we should do is go to the American Embassy and explain our situation to them, and they could place us in the direct, or could tell us who to see.
Well, are you sure they speak English there?
Where?
At the American Embassy?
Are you kidding, Harry?
And so, our friends hit upon the idea of contacting the American Embassy in Milan. Will they be able to help them find Mary? Join us tomorrow when we'll hear Greg Marlowe say,
Yes, and she's been missing now several days.
That's tomorrow in the next exciting episode of Mary Backstage Noble Wife. Word Carr speaking. Right now, a word or two from Tweedy pipe-smoking Webley Webster.
Good evening, gentlemen. Sorry.
What brings you to see us? Do you have one of your penetrating book reviews this evening?
No, I've been kind of goofing off recently, but I'd like to say a word or two on something real important.
All right, go ahead.
Well, I just thought I'd remind everybody about how crowded our colleges and universities are, and they're going to get plenty worse unless everybody gives lots of support to the college of their choice.
Well, it's a very sincere sentiment, Webley, and I thought all of us should heed it, but don't you teach a course on the side at some college yourself?
Oh, Barber College?
Barber? Barber College?
Well, not a place where you learn to cut hair. Chap who founded the school was named Barber, that's all.
Oh, I see. Uh-huh.
Boy, I sure get sore when people make that mistake.
Well, I'm glad you straightened it out. What's the course you teach there?
It's called How to Tell If a Book Smells to High Heaven.
Well, thanks for dropping by tonight, Webley, and we'll keep you in mind, and keep in mind, too, about supporting the college of our choice.
You know, you can make the college of my choice, you know, too.
Next, Mary Backstage Noble Wife. The story of America's favorite family of the Footlights and of their fight for security and happiness against the concrete heart of Broadway. Today we look in on Greg and Harry continuing the search for Mary with only 4 days remaining before their scheduled opening at La Scala. And at the corner of Galano and Janice, we hear Greg say,
Well, I don't think we're making much headway finding the American consulate this way.
Gee whiz,
You know, Harry, I've just thought if...
Hey, here, sit down here on this bench, Greg.
It's good to...
We must have walked 5 miles this afternoon.
See, I have a booklet here of phrases. Let's see. Piedi mi fanno male.
What's that?
My feet hurt.
Oh, yeah, mine too. Good.
I was thinking, Harry, supposing our friends find the consulate, How will they contact us?
Calvin and Pop, you mean?
Yeah.
They were supposed to contact us back at the hotel, back at the Raphael.
And, I think if we go to the consulate, how will we get a hold of them?
That's right. We have
Will we
no
do
way.
the same thing?
We
Go back
have
to the hotel?
I guess we'll have to do that.
I don't mean to complicate things, Harry.
No.
You know, we're in a foreign country, and you have to think differently when you're not at home.
That's right. We've got to do some heavy thinking. Boy, I thought he was going to hit us then.
Non capisco.
What's that?
I don't understand.
Oh.
I have this little phrase book,
Oh.
and I'm trying to pick up my Italian.
Oh, well, give me a few phrases, see if I can figure out what you're saying.
All right. Let me stretch out here a little on this bench.
Yeah.
Desidero?
Huh?
Desidero.
And what does that mean?
I want.
Uh-huh.
Yes, you try
So
some on
I've
me.
got an awful lot of boning up to do before opening Friday at La Scala. We haven't even had a rehearsal yet. What'll happen if we don't
Worry,
find
worry.
Mary? Huh?
Don't give it a thought.
Ah.
I have as much faith in you, Harry, as any producer has in any performer. I know the minute the curtain goes up Friday night at La Scala, you'll sing your heart out. I have no fears about it. And I know that we'll have Mary, and I know that Pop and Calvin, the whole gang, will just acquit themselves beautifully.
Have you signed anything with the Opera House saying that we definitely will be there and will be opening Friday? And
Do you want a swig of this wine?
yes, I don't mind if I do. It might help relax things a little bit.
It's relaxed me completely. You know, for a while there, I was quite concerned about the upcoming opening, and I don't know, suddenly now it doesn't seem that complicated
Well,
to me.
that's easy enough for you to say. You're not the one that has to go out on that stage and sing an opera on Friday.
Well, I'm the
evening.
one who has to go and talk to the productori. The productori.
Produce.
The produce.
Signor Produce.
Right. You
Yes,
see,
that's true. That's probably more important when you think
Here,
of
let
it.
me have that back again.
Yeah, here.
No, the bottle.
Oh. And so Harry and Greg sit discussing the forthcoming opening at La Scala, and Mary is still missing. Be sure and join us tomorrow when we'll hear Calvin say,
Is there anything left in that, Pop?
that's tomorrow in the next exciting episode of Mary Backstage Noble Wife. Word Carr speaking. Chester Hasbrook Frisbee.
Yep.
Wally Ballou.
Yep.
Mary Magoon.
Here.
Well, Calvin L. Hoogerman. Or Webley Webster, really.
Well, you never get me straight. I'm Webley Webster.
Webley Webster, who
I portray the part of Calvin L. Hogan.
Right.
I am here and ready for duty, sir.
Ken Lyle Birdley. Yeah. I guess that's about everybody.
Carmine?
Yes.
Right. Okay, I guess everybody's here.
We're all here and set to go from now until 7 o'clock. Be sure you stay tuned. Next, Mary Backstage Noble Wife. The story of America's favorite family of the Footlights and of their fight for security and happiness against the concrete heart of Broadway. Harry and Greg have had no luck in their attempt to find the American consulate in Milan to seek help in finding Mary. And we see them now as they return to their suite at the Hotel Raphael, and we hear...
Well, guess we're on a fool's errand.
Hi,
there.
Greg, Harry.
Oh, hi.
Wow.
How long you folks been back here?
Oh, about half an hour.
About 40 minutes, I guess.
Well,
we gave up. We got into one of those pool rooms by mistake.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And, look, I made a neat little bundle of money.
Hey.
Played rotation with some guy there, and I cleaned up.
Quite a stack of lira there.
Well, congratulations.
We
Not
gave
only
up,
that,
too.
But this is their paper money.
Yes, right.
I think lira is the paper money. Oh, I didn't understand.
Yes, it is.
Oh, I see.
No sign of the consulate from your direction, huh? No, we couldn't find it.
Sat there on the bench and tried to think what we should do, and I'm lost.
Yes, we both are, and Mary certainly is.
Well, that's right.
I don't know what we're laughing about.
No, I don't either.
La Traviata opens when?
Opens this coming Friday.
This?
I've got to...
This Friday?
That's right.
That's only 3 days away, and we haven't even had one rehearsal yet.
Suddenly, I'm beginning to be concerned again. Do you have any wine here?
Yeah, I've got some over here, Mr. Barlow.
Oh, good. That always helps me when I'm concerned.
Well, I have to say I'm concerned too, but...
I'm not too concerned, but I'll join you anyway.
Well, I certainly hope we'll hear from Mary at least today or tomorrow, so that we can have at least one rehearsal before Friday night's opening.
Say when, Mr. Barlow.
That should do it. Thank you.
How about you, Harry?
Yeah, sure. I just can't think of any way to go about finding Mary. It seems to me she would have phoned us by now.
Look, she'll show up. I know she will. She's a very dependable person.
Is that enough, Harry?
Yes, I guess it is.
Sure, she's a very dependable person.
She knows we're opening at least, and she's never missed an opening yet, to my knowledge.
No, sir. And I've been producing a lot of,
Oh, wait a minute. There's the phone. Maybe that'll be some news.
Well, I hope so.
Hello?
Hello?
Mary!
Yes, Harry.
Harry, yes. Where are you? We've been looking all over Milan for you.
You'd never believe what happened to me.
Well, tell us.
No, I can't tell you over the telephone. They may be listening.
They may be listening.
Yes.
Who do you mean?
Well, I can't say over the telephone.
Well, where are you, Mary?
I'm not sure exactly. I'm here in Milano. Do you have the music for the opera? Because I want to come back there and rehearse.
Well, Greg has the libretto and the music and everything right here, yes.
Good. Well, then I'll take a cab. What's the hotel? I had forgotten.
The Raphael.
Raphael Hotel.
The corner of Janice and Galano.
All right. Well, I've been down here at the Favuzzi Beauty Parlor having my hair done in a bouffant style.
Well, you better get over here as quickly as you can, Mary. My, this is good news. And so Harry hears from Mary at long last, and she prepares to return to the Hotel Raphael. Tomorrow rehearsals begin, and you'll want to be here when we'll hear Greg Barlow say,
Wow, Madame Favuzzi did some job on your hair.
That's tomorrow in the next exciting episode of Mary Backstage Noble Wife. Word Carr speaking.
And now, friends, we have the treat that we've been speaking of for so many days.
Yes. Flaming, would you come over here, please? Ladies and gentlemen, one of the greatest acts to come out of the circus world, and one of the most exciting ones, certainly, that we've ever seen, Flaming Bombadine. I think you're going to have to speak up a little bit more, Flame.
Okay.
Have you got all the equipment here with you? Because after we talk a little bit, we would like to have you demonstrate your wonderful act.
Well, Bob, I can't be shot out of a cannon on the radio program. I said it'd be impossible. The studio isn't big enough. So what we've gone ahead and done is to take a trash can and remove the bottom, and I'll kind of come shooting out of that. And I have, I think, just enough of a charge to carry me just to the end of the studio.
You use a light charge in a thing like this. How did you ever get started being shot out of a cannon? I've often wondered that about you people.
Well, I started being shot out of a flintlock rifle, Bob, when I was a kid, and it just naturally happened. I worked out of a mortar for a while, and then as the bigger I got, the heavier I got, the more of a cannon I needed.
I see.
Bigger bore.
Now, tell us something about the actual work of being fired out of a cannon.
Well, Bob, I have these specially made shoes in which I can put a small charge of dynamite.
Uh-huh.
Now, we light the fuse.
Yeah.
And I'll come shooting out of this trash can. I think, though, for safety's sake here, and as much as I don't have a helmet, that if you would open that door and at the far end of the studio, so that in case I have too much of a charge in my shoes, I'll go through the door and then out into the hall and more or less just...
By that time, you will have slowed down.
Slowed down.
What do you think about when you're flying through the air like you're going to be doing in just a few seconds?
Well, Bob, I don't know. It's awfully hard to describe feeling like that.
Well, look,
look, it's like this. Have you ever been shot out of a cannon?
No.
Well, it's something like that. That's
I
about
guess
all
that's
I can say
about
about
as close as we can come to it.
So
now, will you go over and crawl in the trash can there with your shoes? We have the door open.
You open the door, will you?
Yes, it's all open, Ray.
All right, well, now I'm getting down here.
I think everything's ready.
And I'm all set anytime you want to light
all
that
right,
fuse.
how about I count 3 and we'll let her go, huh?
All right.
Lots of luck, Flaming Bombadine, and we'll thank you in advance for giving us this.
All right, anytime now.
1, 2, 3.
Oh, I'm awfully sorry.
Webley Webster just came in, ladies and gentlemen.
When I closed the door, I didn't know that the fellow was going to be shot out of the cannon.
He was right on his way out the door. He was slowing down. Flaming?
What?
I want you to meet Webley Webster, one of the greatest little guys in show business.
Is he the fellow who closed the door?
Yeah, well, he came in.
He's a bird brain, if you ask me.
Webb, this is Flaming Bombadine.
How do you do, Flaming? I've heard so much about you. Boy, I bet that hurt, huh?
You went headlong into that heavy door out there.
I'm going to sit down for a little while.
I think maybe you'd better. Do you have a headache or anything?
Yeah, mostly that.
Next, Mary Backstage, Noble Wife. The story of America's favorite family of the Footlights and of their fight for security and happiness against the concrete heart of Broadway. With only 2 days left before their scheduled opening at La Scala Opera House in Milan, Mary at last reached Harry by telephone in our last episode. And now, seconds later, still on the phone, we hear... Mary?
Yes?
How far away are you from us right now?
Now, say that again. How far are you from me?
Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from the beauty parlor here at the Lucia Caterina Favuzzi beauty parlor, where she just done my hair beautifully in a big bouffant.
She says she's still at the beauty parlor. Greg, Calvin, Pop.
What did she say?
Still at the beauty parlor.
Is she there for a major job or what?
Well, she's had a bouffant job. Mary?
Yes?
Are you ready to leave the beauty parlor and go
I
back?
heard what he said. I'm not here for a major job at the beauty parlor. I heard what he said. I don't think that's very kind.
Well, did she do your hair in a fashion that'll work in the opera Friday night?
I'm sorry, I was talking to somebody.
Do you have a hairdo that will look well in the opera, La Traviata?
Of course. Miss Favuzzi is an expert on getting people ready for the opera.
What's she
That is
saying,
performers.
She says that Signora Favuzzi is an expert at getting performers ready to appear in the
She
opera.
says, hello.
Yes,
I thought I was cut off there.
No, I can hear you perfectly.
These phones are difficult. They're altogether different than what we have back in Skunk Haven.
Well, what's different about them?
Well, they're different shapes.
You
and the
can see,
numbers-
Harry. You're holding
numbers are
one.
different.
Oh, right, yes. Major job, huh?
It is funny now that I think of
Yes.
it.
I did wonder how soon you'd be able to get back here to the hotel, Mary, so we can start rehearsals. It's only 2 days before we open, you know.
Well, it's all up to them.
Up to who?
I can't say over the telephone. I know I'm sounding very mysterious, but that's the way it is.
Well,
I can't tell you who's listening. I can't tell you who I've been with for the past few days. All I can say is this, that my hair is beautiful, and I'll be all set when the curtain goes up. Is it Friday?
Yes.
When the curtain goes up on the opera.
Day after tomorrow, we open in La Traviata.
Uh-huh.
Well, can you get a taxi and get over here to the
What's he
hotel?
keep laughing at anyway?
I don't know. What do you keep laughing at, Calvin?
Well, just, going to the beauty parlor, and I asked if it was a major job. It's kind of like deja vu.
It isn't anything like...
No, it's nothing like deja vu at all.
It isn't anything like rack and pinion either.
No, it isn't.
So sick of hearing about rack and pinion.
Wait, hello?
Yes.
What was Pop talking about?
Talking about rack and pinion.
Who are they?
No, it's a type of steering mechanism that some of our automobiles use.
What in the world are you talking about? Here I'm getting my hair done, and you're talking about a steering mechanism.
And so Harry continues his conversation with Mary as she prepares to leave the beauty shop and return to Hotel Raphael. Tomorrow, the day before their opera debut begins, we'll hear Calvin say,
I don't know about my throat.
That's tomorrow in the next exciting episode of Mary Backstage Noble Wife. Word Carr speaking. Next, Mary Backstage Noble Wife. The story of America's favorite family of the Footlights and of their fight for security and happiness against the concrete heart of Broadway.
In the backstage suite at Milan's Hotel Raphael, Harry, Greg, Calvin, and Pop are awaiting Mary's arrival and the chance to begin rehearsals for their appearance at the opening of La Traviata at La Scala tomorrow evening. And we hear Greg say...
Say, does the TV set work in this room?
I don't know. We haven't spent that much time here, Greg.
Well, I turned on the TV the other night. They had on a Western.
Oh, really?
But it was all in a foreign tongue.
Well, Italian, probably. Yes, they dub in Italian on those.
It's funny to hear the Indians talk Italian.
Haven't come across the Komodo Dragon show yet, have you?
Well, I haven't watched too much of the TV. They have your game show, of course.
Yeah, sure.
And they don't have anything like the Komodo Dragon program, no, sir.
They have anything like Let's Make a Deal?
Is there any more of that wine left?
I think there's just a little bit here. Yeah, sure.
Well, it's when you get a chance, if you could pour me a glass of that, I'd appreciate it.
Gosh, I wish Mary would arrive. She said she would take a cab and get over here right away so we could start rehearsing. I'm beginning to get worried about tomorrow night.
Yes.
Just say when.
Yeah, I will.
What are we going to wear, Greg? We haven't had any costume fitting or anything.
Don't worry about it. They all have your sizes. You're a 38 long, aren't you? Or
yes.
Regular.
Regular would be all right.
And I'm about a 44 regular.
Say when, Calvin.
I will. And Mary, she must be about a 38 long.
38 long or regular, I guess.
Yeah, I suppose.
She should be getting here any minute. Can't wait to see her
full
blonde hairdo.
That's enough for me.
Okay. How about you, Mr. Barlow?
Yes, I'll have just a taste.
Okay. Say when.
Right.
Wait a minute. That may be Mary now. I'll go and let her in. Door's stuck. Mary, is that you?
What?
The door is stuck. Is that you, Mary?
Yes, it's stuck. Can't you open it?
Glad you made it. Oh, dear. Well,
hello
Hey, Mary. Welcome back.
Certainly good to see you. Boy, where have you been anyway?
Ever relieved to see you and that hairdo.
What do you think of it?
Signora Favuzzi did a beautiful job.
Yeah, she says she does all the hairstylists for the opera singers.
That's really bouffant, isn't it?
Don't move, Mary. I want to remember you this way.
What do you mean by that, Greg?
I mean, you're simply beautiful. Oh, thank you, Mr. Marlowe. You're very kind.
Sounded kind of ominous there for a minute.
Boy, let me see, Mary. I've never seen you with a hairstyle like that. It must be about 3 feet around, isn't it? Looks like a football helmet.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Beautiful.
Why are you saying these things to Calvin?
Well, I don't know. I tell you, Mary, I'm worried sick about the opening of the opera, you know. We open Friday, and as you know, I don't sing very well.
And we haven't had one run-through yet, Greg. When are we going to have our first rehearsal?
We'll have cue cards there Friday night.
And so Mary returns at last to the Hotel Raphael, and rehearsals begin seriously. Tomorrow, the curtain rises on La Traviata, and you'll want to be here when we'll hear Greg Marlowe say...
Any more of that wine there?
That's tomorrow in the next exciting episode of Mary Backstage Noble Wife. Word Carr speaking. Well, Webb, I'm glad you got here because Ray was telling me he had a flat tire on the Bob and Ray truck. It's parked downstairs.
Yeah.
And I wondered if you could get down and change it. I know
Look,
it's
I'm
raining.
all dressed up. I'm going out to a dance tonight, and I got
I know,
this...
but we have a flat tire. We have to go out to a supermarket opening.
And I have this, it's a beautiful tuxedo.
It is a nice suit. Expensive, was it?
Yeah, it is very expensive, but if I go out and change the tire, and it'll be a mess.
Yeah.
How's the bird?
The great bird is fine. But would you go down and change the tire for him?
Well, all right, I'll go down.
I mean, it's...
Sorry.
Hate to have you get the suit dirty. Hurry along to that special feature that we call the Bob and Ray Beg Your Pardon. It's a portion of the program where we apologize in person to some individual who may have been embarrassed by an inaccurate statement we made about him or her on the air.
Well, naturally, our skilled reporters along the Bob and Ray network don't make many mistakes of that type, but in their frantic rush to bring you the news quickly, it's only natural that a few small errors do creep in occasionally. And the victim of one of those trivial mistakes is here with us today. He's Mr. Norman Werbant of Lake Forest, Illinois.
And, Mr. Werbant, we've shelled out more than $100 to bring you here to New York just so we could shake your hand and tell you we're sorry.
Well, it was a lovely gesture, even though I would have preferred not to ride that far on the bus. But in any event, I don't hold you people personally responsible for turning my life upside down.
Well, that's very charitable of you, Mr. Werbant. I might just tell our listeners that your problems began shortly after the Bob and Ray Network ran a story about the valuable paintings you stole. Isn't that correct, sir?
No, that's not correct. In fact, you just repeated the same mistake you made originally. I didn't steal the paintings. I was the owner of the paintings that were stolen.
Well, isn't that just splitting hairs by saying the same thing in different words, Mr. Werbant?
Well, no, not at all. I'm inclined to think you're not listening to what I said any more than the reporter who covered the story in the first place. See, I happen to be quite a wealthy man.
Well, if I could just cut in right there, Mr. Werbant, the size of your bankroll, I want you to know, wouldn't keep us from broadcasting the news as we see it.
Well, that's very commendable, except in my case, you see it wrong. I owned one of the largest collections of rare paintings on the North Shore of Chicago. And last month, 4 of my masterpieces, valued at more than $500,000, were stolen.
Yes, we carried a story on that event, and I have a copy of what was broadcast right here. It identifies the 4 paintings and estimates their value at $500,000, so I don't even see the mistake that we brought you here for. To apologize. I don't see anything here to apologize
Well,
for.
the mistake was you said I stole the paintings. And as I just finished telling you, they were my paintings that somebody else stole.
Oh, I believe I see the point that you're trying to make now, sir. And I admit that that's an interesting sidelight.
Well, it's a little more than a sidelight. I've been impeached as chairman of the board of directors of the Lake Forest Art Gallery, and your story was responsible for that.
Well, I don't know why you're dumping that on our laps, Mr. Werbant. I don't imagine any gallery would want a known art thief to be chairman of its board of directors. And you really should have thought of that before you stole the pictures.
Look, maybe I still haven't made my point clear. The pictures that were stolen belong to me.
Well, I don't care who they belong to. That doesn't change the nature of the crime. In fact, I don't think the story we broadcast even mentioned the owner of the paintings, did it?
Well, the story mentioned me, but it said I stole the pictures. That's the part you people got mixed up.
I see. Well, if you're claiming you didn't steal the paintings, then who did?
Well, the police don't know yet. They were well-known masterpieces, so that would make them impossible to sell on the open market in this country. That's why the theory is that they were taken by a professional gang of international art thieves who smuggled them into Eastern Europe by way of South America.
Well, I must say you have a vivid imagination to dream up a story like that, Mr. Werbant. It's too bad, you know, that a man with your quick mind became a common thief.
Mr. Goulding, I happen to be a millionaire several times over.
Yes, I imagine that's true. Unfortunately, crime does pay.
I'm not a criminal. I was the victim.
Sure. Well, of course, we're hearing that plea more and more in our courtrooms these days, but I really don't think you can expect society to take the responsibility for what you've done.
I haven't done anything. You guys got the story turned around and ruined me. My kids have even been kicked out of an exclusive private school in Winnetka.
Well, I guess it's always the children who suffer, and we're sorry to cause embarrassment to the families of people like you, but it's our job to report the news. So I hope you'll try to explain that to your youngsters when they're a little older and come to see you on visiting day.
I think I could explain it to them right now if you just apologize and say you're sorry you made a mistake.
Okay, if it'll make things easier for your children, we apologize. Naturally, we're sorry you made a mistake. We always hate to see a man ruin his life by turning to crime.
It's wrong.
Now, you just run along, sir, while we invite our listeners to join us soon for the next edition of the Bob and Ray Beg Your Pardon Show.
Said it wrong.
Mary Backstage, Noble Wife. The story of America's favorite family of the Footlights and of their fight for security and happiness against the concrete heart of Broadway. Yesterday, Mary received her baptism of fire at Milan's La Scala Opera House, singing the role of Violetta in La Traviata. Now, as today's episode begins, it's close to the end of Act 2, Scene 1. Harry as Guermont faces Calvin as Alfredo, and we hear...
Rispondi d'un padre all'affetto, il senti, divorami il petto, mi lasciarti come testa, non giù, affretta,
Calvin?
But I could hardly read those cue cards. The way Mr. Marlowe was holding them upside down and sideways.
Oh, who was that kid that ran across the stage in the middle of
I
that?
could have choked the lady come out there yelling for the
Mary? Mary, did you hear us? How did it sound?
Sounded fine, but that interruption was just horrid. Who was that lady?
I don't know.
The little kid was a freshie, too. He stuck his tongue out at me as he ran across the stage and out through the back door.
Oh, well, at least we've all been on stage once. We're getting used to it. Oh, there's Greg. Greg, how did we do?
How did we do?
How did we do, Greg?
Hey, we ever doing it? Hey, you guys are all right.
Well, thanks very much.
You didn't miss the note.
Well, I thought we did pretty good for a first run-through. We were really...
Hey, Harry, that was terrific stick you had at having that kid run across the stage.
We were just discussing. That wasn't my idea,
That's
Greg.
a nice touch.
No, it was just a spur of the moment thing. Somebody just ran across.
Well, listen, take it from an old pro. Keep within. It's good business.
Leave it in, huh?
Sure. Very all set for the big finale?
Yes, I believe I am.
Well, that doesn't come for a while yet, Greg.
Oh, I know. I better change the cards. I have the finale cards here.
And so, Scene 1 of Act 2 is completed at La Scala, and tomorrow you want to join us as the opera progresses, and we hear Calvin say,
"Look, everybody's leaving the theater."
That's tomorrow in the next exciting episode of Mary Backstage, Noble Wife. Word Carr speaking. So here's an early warm weather tip from the makers of Einbinder flypaper. Friends, summer will be with us before we know it. And that's the time of year when even frequent bathing fails to prevent many of us from drawing flies. But there's no longer a need to let personal embarrassment over this problem interfere with your summer fun. Just drape a few strips of flypaper around your clothing whenever you leave the house, and be free of those swarms of insects that used to hover around you. Remember, there's no need to be a wallflower when summer comes if you protect yourself with flypaper. But with your personal popularity at stake, be sure to ask for the best. Genuine Einbinder flypaper, the brand you've gradually grown to trust over the course of 3 generations.
Next, Mary Backstage, Noble Wife. The story of America's favorite family of the footlights and of their fight for security and happiness against the concrete heart of Broadway. At La Scala in Milan, it's near the end of the second act of La Traviata. Things have been going quite well for Mary, Harry, and Calvin in their opera debut until it became apparent that Greg Marlowe had taken a bottle of wine into the prompter's box. Now, as the curtain slowly falls on Act 2 acts, Mary.
Yes.
I'm beginning to enjoy this opera work, aren't you?
Let me tell you something. For people who've never been in opera before, I think we're doing all right.
You certainly sounded beautiful in the second act,
folks.
Mary. Oh, that's Marlowe.
You did just great,
Well,
folks.
thank you, Greg. I think
I'm
we've got...
quite thrilled with your performances.
I think some of the bugs have been ironed out, and I think we'll be all right.
Thank you, Greg. I wish you'd do something about the way you're holding those cards.
Oh, forget it. Hey, look, you got a few minutes here before the third act.
Yes, there's an intermission here.
I'm going to sit over here at the electric organ, accompany myself, and go out and entertain the nice people of Milan with a little song I wrote.
You're going to sing?
Wait a minute.
What do you mean, Mr. Marlowe?
People never do that at opera, do they?
Well, of course
it's
not.
unheard
They
of.
go mill around in the lobby, that's all.
Listen,
Discuss
this
the
will
opera.
be a first. Hey, stagehands, roll the Paducci out here to the stage. Roll me out in the middle of the stage.
Yes, he's really going to do it. I think he's going to sing to this audience.
I can't either. And there goes the curtain. Oh, this
Folks?
is terrible.
How do you do, ladies and gentlemen?
Anything like this in
This
my
is
life.
something new. You probably don't even understand what I'm saying, so I'll raise my voice. I'm going to sing a little song for you.
Isn't this
while
awful?
the kids are backstage changing their costumes.
This is the first time
Little
this has ever
thing.
happened.
Sit back, fasten your seatbelts,
and dig some of this rhythm.
Oh, did you hear what he said?
I can't believe
Oh,
it.
look at the crowd. They can't believe it either.
Oh, my.
I didn't think he was ever able to sing, or much less write a song.
Oh, we wondered about it.
I send my song to Puerto Rico or the seven seas.
Puerto Rico?
I blow a kiss to Puerto Rico to travel on the breeze.
He doesn't have a bad voice.
Sky so high, the trade wind blowing.
Listen to that audience.
With amber light, sea and hills will set a-glowing. The Milky Way at night.
They're angry. Oh, they're angry.
Lands and lace and perfume.
Better get him off there.
Yeah.
Black as
Stagehand.
Get him off there. David Black.
feet that
And so it appears the audience doesn't take too well to the song that Greg Marlowe has decided to sing and play on the stage of La Scala. You want to be here tomorrow when we'll hear Greg say,
Where you taking me? Hey, what is this?
that's tomorrow in the next exciting episode of Mary Backstage Noble Wife. Word Carr speaking.
I was over to the tap.
Oh, boy.
I'd been over there. And I just came back.
What time were you over there?
About 12:30.
Wow.
What time is it now?
It's 4:30.
Oh, I've been over there about 4 hours.
It's 4:29 to be exact.
I gave the boys and the band a day off.
Good. Oh, boy. Would you face the other way, please?
Which way?
The other way.
Toward the wall.
Yeah, please.
Oh, like this? Oh, that all right?
That's much better.